Good morning and welcome to your newspaper review on Idea Television. I am Jacobs Deborah and I'm in the house with a guest that we've all missed. Barrister Damisi Adenikinju. Welcome very much, sir.
It's my pleasure being here once again. Thank you for having me.
Like we said, we all missed you. I'm very sure our viewers out there missed you. You missed your face and your knowledge.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be moving into our newspaper headlines immediately. We'll be looking at the front page of the Punch newspaper, where we see again, Southwest Top says voters pre-registration hits 2.5 million in page 7. And in page 23, we see that tariff war, respect states' electricity regulations, the federal government wants discourse. We also see in page 21 that CNG price hits 450 SCM as federal government withdraws subsidy. Looking into that story, we see that the federal government of Nigeria has increased the price of compressed natural gas CNG from 230 naira to 450 naira per standard cubic meter SCM for trucks, while commercial and private car drivers continue to pay the subsidized rate of 380 SCM. The price adjustment comes as subsidies are removed and future hikes to 500 naira to 600 naira SCM are possible to attack investors. Despite the increase, the government is extending CNG infrastructure, growing conversion centers from 7 to 265 nationwide and operational fueling stations from 20 to 60 with 175 more planned. Over 100 vehicles have been converted to CNG in 1 year, creating over 10,000 jobs. Long queues and refueling stations, however, this raises concern, and some vehicle owners may revert back to petrol. Actually, like the ending part of that particular news, because it just tells the truth. I think the major reason why people are running away from fuel and converting to CNG is not just because it's a cleaner and more alternative way to actually power your vehicles, but also for the fact that it is cheap.
Cheaper. Yeah.
It's cheaper than the normal fuel that we use. But the problem now is that, you know, one thing in Nigeria, and I think I've noticed it in the labor market, is once something goes high, and even if the federal government brings it back, it just stays there.
Exactly.
For business, it just stays there. It doesn't, because I've not seen any change. We've heard that fuel, on lighter note, fuel actually has reduced,
Yes.
coming from Dangote and every other refineries. But still, we still go to stations and see fuel sold at 800 and something, which is supposed to have reduced, I think, than that. But even when it comes to other things like food, once rice has increased to 1,050 naira, before it drops back, even if it drops back in the main market with the wholesalers, the retailers themselves will still want to keep that price till probably when they see that other competitors are reducing their prices, then they now decide to manage to reduce their price. And now we're seeing that CNG is increasing.
Yes. Just as you said, one of the main reasons why people switch from petrol to moving towards CNG is because it's cheaper. It's more affordable for them. And the government has been pushing for many persons, car users, to switch to CNG. But them now coming out to remove subsidy, remove the subsidy that was on CNG, especially as regards the trucks that are moving around the country, and saying that, look, you are going to pay more. And if the trucks are beginning to pay more, definitely even car users, it will affect car users in some way. Maybe over time too, you begin to see car users too begin to pay more to switch for CNG and all of that. So to me, it just shows the contradiction. You are telling people to switch, that is a cheaper version, but at the same time, you are also increasing the price of the CNG. Hopefully, it doesn't reach a situation where it's the same price of petrol that
actually was
and when you said there was the essence of the whole of switching my CNG my fuel laden tank to CNG.
How sure are we that this price will be maintained or will go lower than this and not higher?
And you see, the thing with CNG is when CNG came about, a lot of people brought about safety issues. That heat can blow up the vehicles, heat can, with the price now being increased, many people will just say, look, let me just stick to my petrol. At least I know what I'm getting from my petrol.
Yes.
They say the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. So a lot of people will just say, look, let me stick to my my petroleum driven vehicle, and rather than switching to CNG. But hopefully, like it's being reported, maybe they said it's to attract more investors and all of that. Governments will always come out with sweet talk, try to package something. We've removed subsidy. We are trying to make sure investors are. Let's hope that it's not just sweet talk as usual. That it's something that is being. I want to give the government benefit of a doubt, at least for this one. Let's see how it goes. But really, removing subsidy in CNG, it just caused a lot of questions. Really.
Yes, of course.
This is a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. Okay, another interesting is that National Assembly cautions WAEC on the planned CBT rollout. We see that lawmakers in the National Assembly have cautioned the West African Examination Council, WAEC, against pushing to introduce computer-based tests, CBT, for 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination, while WAEC assures nationwide access to phased implementation starting with objective questions. Lawmaker expressed that concerns about uneven technology access and poor infrastructure and also low digital literacy to rural areas. Senators and House members stressed the need for piloting programs combating CBT with traditional exam and establishing functional CBT centers in all 774 local government areas to ensure fairness. Now, I understand from the National Assembly point of view, because looking at the last WAEC exam that was written, we know that students were not ready for it.
It was a mass failure.
Mass failure. Let's first even see that students were not ready for it.
Yeah.
Before you do something, the fact that I already know that previously they've been doing WAEC on papers, I will prepare for papered WAEC. Now, if they were doing it on a CBT, I would also want to, even if I didn't have the knowledge of a computer-based intelligence, I would want to enroll for that so that I do not fail because of the fact that I do not have computer literacy. But this just came and you put it on the children, and the mass failure was much. First of all, we're even trying to handle the mass failure in JAM. We've not yet solved JAM on yet because of the CBT usage and all of that, the literacy and all of that. And now you're now putting it in WAEC.
That's a theory session. That people will write.
That you need to write and tell. I can imagine them, and most of the CBT, that was one of the questions I was trying to focus on. Most of these CBT computer are based on time, and their time is not as much as it is when you are writing. When you're typing on computer, it's not the same thing as writing.
They are much slower. Because for those that are not really into typing,
But WAEC is still saying they can try to. I know, like I said, I look at on the flip side, on the other side, that's WAEC. They want to make sure that our students come to that point where they are computer-based literate. And I understand that. But before we put this on the children, can we see that we've properly taken care of? Because when we come to our schools, let's talk about the schools now. Leave the CBT WAEC writing. The schools themselves don't even offer computer practical examinations. So you don't expect that I'll come out from a government school. It's even private schools. Most private schools, not even all private schools, that actually have that practical literacy for computer-based examinations. I come out from a government school that I've never even seen, or I've been in a situation where it's only one person that is operating the computer, and the only thing they'll show you is Microsoft. Okay, this is your Microsoft, this way, and they do not even teach you, and you do not even spend long time in that computer system, and you just expect me to come out and start writing CBT examination. It's a lot to drop on the students at this point.
At this point in time, yes.
But like I said, I understand from the both points. What do you think?
To me, I understand you understanding from both points, but me, I don't understand from WAEC point of view at all. It's see, where mass failure, where people are just going to fail. You don't expect a child from Jigawa or in those states that has not really seen computer.
What it looks like.
He doesn't even know what a computer looks like. You now bring him to an exam center. You are not just telling him to pick options. You are telling him he should type his answers. You get? He's going to fail. That's what you are basically saying. Because how many people are computer literate in Nigeria? The infrastructure has it been made available? So WAEC has to look at these things before they even start putting these things out. They should suspend it. Give it a period of probably 5 years. Let us see how technology penetrates, especially the rural areas. You're talking about 774 local governments. How many local governments in Nigeria are actually having computer centers that their communities can go and use computers? You know, we underestimate the underdevelopment of Nigeria in terms of technology, and that's what's paining me with this thing. Even the JAMB that we are talking about, JAMB too, we understand you can maybe just click on your answers, and that's why we didn't have much problem with JAMB. But even at that, JAMB is still having issues.
Yes.
Because there are some people that still don't know how to use the computers when it comes to answering JAMB questions. And now you want to bring WAEC to say people should be typing their answers. Maybe, how are they even going to do the maths on? How are they going to solve the math on the CBT? I don't even know, but that's left to right. But I just feel it's a wrong time. I understand what they are trying to do, but it's a wrong time. You know, they are trying to do a good thing, but the timing is very, very bad. Let them give it 5, 6, 7 years. Let our educational sector improve. Let there be ICT in most of our secondary schools. Let it be standard. You know, let these people be into tech already. Ask an SS3-year-old student. They don't know anything. Most of them, on an average, they don't know much about computers and all of that. So it's wrong timing to me, and WAEC should just hold on with that.
So with WAEC holding on, we're trying to say that the government should actually look into the case of making educational systems strong when it comes to technology. We should look into the infrastructural development of technology-based education. It's very important. It's an important thing now, and especially in this age. Yes. It's very important that every educational system has a technology-based literacy that is implemented in every school. So please, to all our, and also our parents, because also the parents has a role to play. Yeah. Try to enroll your children, no matter how young they are, to learn computer, to know how to go around the computer system and know what AI is, because like we said, and we have been saying, this is a technological age and world, and we do not want to be left behind when other countries are moving forward. Another beautiful story on that same front page is the 2025 revenue target met. No more borrowing. Our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced that Nigeria has met its 2025 revenue target ahead of the schedule, allowing the country to fund its budget without borrowing. We hear that this achievement is attributed to a strong non-oil revenue drive and exchange rate stabilization. Tinubu highlighted the progress in diversifying the economy, including the agricultural mechanism and food security initiatives. He also expressed confidence that external trade policies such as U.S. tariff will not adversely impact Nigeria, speaking to the stakeholders. Tinubu reflects on APC history and reaffirmed the administration commitment to economic recovery, unity, and community of Buhari's legacy. This announcement is an encouragement to Nigeria, but for me, I feel like it's also like a test. Let's understand. He's saying that there's no more borrowing. I think in another headline, it carries that there's no more local borrowing. So at that point, I'm wondering, is it that there's no more borrowing at all, both external and internal, or we are saying that we will not borrow locally, but we can still borrow from
from the look of things, I think it's just local borrowing he's talking
Yes.
about. I don't think external borrowing. Nigeria, we've not reached that level where we cannot borrow externally. We've not reached that level yet.
We'll reach.
But we'll reach by the
We
grace
would.
of God, or
We would
inshallah,
reach.
as Muslims we say, we'll reach. But for now, we are at this level whereby we need to actually borrow externally. But it's a good one that the government has come out to say it won't be borrowing locally. They've met their revenue targets. I think we have to give the government kudos to that. It's a good one. It's not every day that we condemn the government. We say it's a good one that they've met their revenue target, although it came with the fact that increased taxes, subsidy was removed, it came at the pain of Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians, because it was our pain that made them to reach this revenue targets and all of that. We just hope, I always say monies can be gotten from us, but the major factor, major outcome is this monies that you are getting, the revenue that you've generated, is it being used to benefit the lives of the ordinary citizens? Is it being used to improve our lives? Is infrastructure being improved? We just spoke about our educational sector now. They need to invest that revenue that they've made into pump it into the educational system and all of that. But for borrowing, I don't like borrowing. Me personally, I don't like having to borrow, but you can borrow to do business and all of that. Nigeria will definitely borrow externally. At least for the next couple of years, we will always borrow externally from the IMF, World Bank, and we will always seek for monies because we don't yet have the capacity to make enough money or to not to borrow. So, but I think they are talking of local borrowing from our local banks and all of that, which is a good one. And meeting the revenue target is also a good one, yes.
Okay, on the Vanguard front page, we also see that same story that we've met our revenue target, no longer borrowing from domestic banks, Tinubu has come out to say. And in page 21, we see that made in Nigeria footwear can be best in the world. CEO Mona Matthews Shoes has come out to proclaim. We also see in page 12 that world relinization, INEC under fire with its Kiri Nation calls for probe. We also see the big headline, the National Convention PDP draws battle line with Wike camp in page 5. We also see states have no excuse not to pay beyond 70,000 minimum wage. NECA in page 9 has said. And we also see in page 8 that visa outstays, US-UK ramp up, warning may ban violators. We also see that Ghana president fires Chief Justice over abuse of office in page 7. Moving to the next newspaper front page is in Daily Independent newspaper, where we see the big headline, Nigerian mid government bank under pressure as 2026 deadline nears. We also see another big headline that no more borrowing. We've met our revenue target, says our president. We also see that Tinubu reverses recent appointments and reinstates DG and NTA in page 7. Moving to the next newspaper front page is the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, where we see the resurge of killing in the North Central, evidence of government failure. Article has come out to say in page 16. And in page 3, we see that BPE target listing of 2 discos, 1 Genco on stock exchange. The big headline, PDP govs bear fangs, says we are not cowards in page 4. And the Guardian newspaper front page, we see that Tinubu Perli CP Group says revenue target met amid data gaps in page 6. And also beneath it, we see opposition seeks legal redress for Rivers local government poll irregularities in page 28. And in the Blueprint newspaper front page, you see that Nigeria has met its revenue target and we won't be borrowing locally again, our president has come out to say. An infrastructure deficit, Nigeria needs to spend $100 billion annually for 23 years. BPE has come out to say, working on 50 million jobs for citizens. And we also see in the Daily Trust newspaper front page that talks disrupt Castina elders meeting as radar leads stakeholders to Tinubu. We also see that Tinubu sets aside NTA appointments and recalls DG ED news. And we also see beside it that Obasanjo, Abdul Salami, Jonathan push for accessible healthcare. We also see the fresh quake in Afghanistan as death throws rises to 1,400 people. We also see beneath it that President meets CPC blocks, says Nigeria not borrowing locally. And down to the names of the former President Obasanjo, Abdul Salami, and Jonathan have launched the Care 365 Health Hub, a digital healthcare platform aimed at making medical services more accessible, especially in rural areas. The initiative provides a self-service health check and connects patients to appropriate care, addressing Nigerians' high malaria burden and inadequate health facilities. Health Minister Professor Mohammed Ali Pate has highlighted 4-pillar strategy to move governance and expand primary health care and also boost private sector involvement and strengthen health care security. The program seeks to reduce preventable deaths, lower reliance on medical tourism, and also leverage technology for inclusive, affordable health care. Wow. Seeing people coming out, we've always advocated for togetherness in Nigeria. We know that one person cannot do it alone, and we know that it cannot be left alone for the federal government or the president himself to take aid for all of these sectors. And seeing that former presidents are rising, that's former President Jonathan and also the former President Obasanjo, as well as Abdul Salami, has come out to now say, to the healthcare, we want to see our healthcare move into a technology-based healthcare system. And not just that, to focus on rural areas that really do not have this healthcare available for them, to make sure that they get this healthcare well and, available for people who are actually suffering. Like I said, I love the fact that people are coming out. We always looked for private investors and personal investors that would come out and say, okay, my country is lacking this. Let's do this. I can do this. With this money that I have, I can make sure that this is actually improved. And to see that Nigerians are actually coming out for their fellow Nigerians to make sure that healthcare reaches every area, not just the urban areas. It's not only us that would actually benefit. We're not the only ones that would benefit from this. They're saying, okay, let rural areas also benefit, is a good thing on one hand. So when this story came out on Facebook, people started looking at it from the political end point and asking, is this because, seeing that former President Jonathan has been included in this, they are looking at it in a way that, hope this is not another way of him trying to allow or seek for voters, where if he actually, because he has not said, he has not proclaimed that he's going to come out as a candidate of any political party yet. If he actually surfaced as a candidate of any political party. That's all the whole information from Facebook, because I was looking at the comments and people were saying, hope it's not a political drive, hope it's not his godfathers helping him, because we were seeing other names. So let's not be that. Yes. So what do you think about it? So
like you said, it's two ways. First off, you must commend whether it's a political move or not. It's a good development that we are getting our infrastructure updated, especially in the rural areas, even if it's one hospital, two hospitals, or maybe a clinic in the rural area that is being, we actually need improved infrastructure. We don't want, me personally, I'm tired of people leaving the shores of Nigeria for medical care outside of the country. I'm tired of seeing people in our rural areas dying because of basic health amenities that are not available. So it's a good one that the former heads of state, the former presidents have come together to establish this rural development, healthcare development. It's a good one. We must commend them. But on the flip side again, which you raised, a lot of people will raise eyebrows that, Goodluck Jonathan is still eligible to contest. He was a one-term president. So he's still eligible to contest by our constitution. And a lot of people have been pushing him to say he should contest for presidency against President Tinubu and all of that. He should throw his head in the ring, throw his hat in the ring rather. And so some people would definitely be worried and say, oh, hope this is not a political stunt or it's not a political move. for him to say, okay, I'm doing this. So you just create awareness. I know he just throws his hat in the ring, and people begin to say, oh, look at what President Jonathan has done and all of that. But me personally, I just feel like if he has not said anything, let's just be waiting. Let's see how it goes. I don't think he's going to contest. I just think that they just came together to do goodwill for the people of Nigeria. I don't think he wants to actually put his hat in the ring. I think he just wants to maintain himself and just be doing. But people will definitely raise eyebrows.
Of course. Yes. So diverting a little, we've been seeing headlines. I think that was on Monday or on Tuesday that Wiki comes out to warn PDP not to bring in Jonathan as a candidate, that there's every possibility that they will be removed from the election itself because of the fact that Jonathan has, and from a legal point of view, I'm bringing it because I want you to point out, they said they were going to take it to the court, that if it's brought to the court, that Jonathan has run twice. That's after he took from our former late president, was
President Buhari.
No. Former late president Umar Yar'Adua, yes. And when he ran against our former late president Muhammad Buhari and won. So, from a legal point of view, I want to know, can he still run? And one, did the one of him taking over from the former late president Yar'Adua, is that a count that? Should they be counted?
There's a new constitutional amendment that I think it's happened probably 2023, I can't remember. It says that any vice president that takes over from the president and contests for another tenure once cannot contest again. So that means once you finish the tenure of the late president or the president that has been resigned, you contest only once and you go. But that didn't happen during Jonathan's period, you get. Okay. So Jonathan is coming in as a fresh, he has done I think 6 years as president. He took over from Yar'Adua, contested once. Now he's free. So personally, my own personal opinion and my own legal view, Jonathan is still eligible to contest this election if he so wishes to. Nothing in the constitution bars him from contesting again. Since that is it's just like saying President Muhammadu Buhari, since he was a military head of state 8 years ago, those years he can't contest under a new. President Buhari was the president under military regime, but that didn't stop him from contesting, from going another 8 years again. So the President Jonathan, constitutionally is still allowed to contest, although people will definitely want to challenge it. Wike is a politician. They will definitely want to throw political jargons and political so that it will prevent him. Maybe he will not even want to fight to say, oh, let me not even. But I'm sure that if Jonathan actually throws his hat in the ring and he contests, and is being tried in court, I'm sure that he's going to pull through. Because the decision to say that a person cannot contest after he has done the tenure of his predecessor and has contested once, that happened probably 2022, 2023 that the law was passed. So it's not a retrospective law. It starts from that moment. Now, it's not something that will affect Goodluck Jonathan. And nobody says that what the Constitution provides for is that a person can contest and be the president twice, like a 4-year tenure. That's 8 years. You get. So it's not that you contest and you say you lose and you say you can't contest again. No. As the president, no. That the Constitution doesn't provide for that. No.
Okay. Because I actually, like I said, when we were going through the headlines, we were trying to look for a legal point stand and legal point of view at that point, because I needed to know if it's possible for him to actually do it. Because it's possible that. Let me know. Let's not go there so that we do not push, we do not turn tables, political tables. Okay, let's move into our tech news, where we see that US revokes TSMC's fast-track status for chip equipment exports to China. We see that Washington has revoked the fast-track export status of US chip-making equipment to Taiwan manufacturing companies, TSMC, main plant in China. This move confirmed yesterday comes just days after South Korea chipmaker Samsung and SK Hynix lost the same privilege. Until now, the world's largest contract chipmaker is rival and had been exempted from U.S. export restrictions on advanced technology to China. This validation end-user status will officially end on December 31st. meaning that TSM must apply for US export license. Okay, before we move into that particular news fully, we're going on a quick break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is your newspaper review on Idea Television. I am Jacob Deborah, and we've been doing this with our guest at the house, Barrister Damisi Adenikinju. Welcome once again, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we're looking into the news of the U.S., and this is what happened. We heard that the U.S. have taken away TSMC Taiwan, Samsung, and SK Hynix South Korea, as well as the special permission that allows them to freely export American chips, American chip making equipment to their factories in China. Now, with the whole fight that America has been having with China, the technological fight we've been seeing them have, we feel like this is part of it. On one end, we understand the fact that America wants to still keep their hold or their rooting on technology, and they know that these chips actually still empowers the Chinese people too. But still, on the other hand, we're looking at, for me, on the flip side, we're looking at technology advancement. So should we still allow our political, will I say, tussle and technology tussle to allow us now limit some companies that we know, that we already know that these people are big enough to make big development when it comes to technology? Should we not say because of our fight or our way we want to
to protect our the ongoing trade war is really going to affect a lot of things that Donald Trump, the US president, started. He sees the fact that the Taiwanese company is that we are producing your chips in China, and you have a fast track status in America. He sees it as cheating if you can put that input, and he doesn't want that to happen. It feels like these chips, if you are bringing them from China, you should be exempted. Just as we read in the report, South Korean companies were also involved. Some other companies were also involved. Telling them that this is your fast track status. You can't be having that again. You have to go through the normal routes of you seek the licenses, the required licenses. And normally, this fast track status usually helps these companies. They don't need to go through the hustle and tussle. You get their chips from China. As a Taiwanese company, get your chips from China, get it exported, bring it to the USA, and business is good and smooth. But now, with the whole of this stuff ongoing now, it will make for business not to be smooth as usual. You get, I don't know the end goal of the US government for imposing this. Maybe they see it as a way of telling the Taiwanese that don't go and produce your chips in China, come to the US and to produce it. But there is a reason why this Taiwanese company is producing chips in China. Number one, China provides cheaper labor. You get, these materials are getting cheaper in China. The money you use to pay people to produce these chips in China will be lesser than the money you use to pay people in the US market. So this Taiwanese company has a reason for wanting to produce their chips in China and not in. But as you said again, in the world of technology, you must always collaborate. Yes, countries must collaborate. We are talking about advanced technology. We are talking about advancements in AI. So countries must always seek to collaborate. So with this ongoing now, you have the US trying to get as restrict, get a lot of issues on board. It's going to affect a lot of companies. It's going to affect a lot of countries and a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses have to find a way to adapt. A lot of businesses some businesses are fighting. They are not even adapting. Some countries are fighting back. They don't care. They are fighting back and saying that the US, you have to this trade war that you are pushing every one of us, you have to stop it. You have to reduce it. We can't do business like this. We can't do business this way. So with this, the Taiwanese company, with China and everything, let's just see how it goes. There are some decisions that the US government has taken in this trade war that they had to reverse when they saw that the consequences didn't favor them. So hopefully this is one of the decisions that they've taken that they might reverse, because I don't see how it will benefit everybody in the long run. You know, the Chinese, if the US wants these companies to produce and manufacture in China, they have to make sure that the labor market, everything is suitable for them. You get, so, and shouldn't be forcing these companies to find means to circumvent or to fight back and all of that.
In the case of labor markets, we saw news last 2 weeks. We read the news that they had been forcing, there was regulators wanted Google to actually sell their Chrome out in order to free that monopoly marketing and all of that. But now we saw that they took Google to court, and Google has come out with a winning flag. Now we see that Google has won the partial victory in major U.S. antitrust cases, as Washington judge ruled yesterday that the company will not be forced to sell Chrome browser or Android operating system. However, the court ordered Google to share their data with competitors to boost competition in online search and advertising. Now, like I said before, Google actually did not actually want to sell, but was forced to at a point, and they've ruled for Google now. Now, we understand from the part that people are looking at it as a monopolistic market and all of that, and they wanted to make it accessible so that we remove that monopolistic marketing and allow it for competition to be done in that particular way or in that market. At this point, I would understand from Google point why they are hiding, why they are trying to secure their own space.
Yes.
They are trying to their very best to secure it. But now that data will be released, if it actually happens, what do you think?
So first off, I want to say there is no businessman that won't want monopoly. Every businessman strives for let me not say every, but majority of business people, business companies, they strive for monopoly. Yes. In every sector that they are in. And Google really, I think about majority of the digital market, digital product, digital space really, Google has a large percentage of it. I mean, you are talking about the search engine, you are talking about Chrome, you are talking about so many devices that Google, that's the parent company's Alphabet, which they control and have. You know, but competitors have come out to say, look, we can't allow Google to be the ones monopolizing everything. So even the State Department, the US State Department too, that challenge Google that you can't, they practice a capitalist system of government in the US, and capitalism means competition. Everybody should compete with whoever. So that's why in the US, they don't want one person to be in charge of everything. And, so them going to the court and the US courts ruling that you can't force Google to sell its products. You get that the only thing they can do is that data should be shared. Now, you raise a valid point. Now, this data, who are the competitors that this data will be shared to? And is it going to be well protected? You get, so you don't just sell to anybody. Who is this competition that, are there people like this data? Is there like a privacy law that also protects users? Because I also use Google. There are a lot of American citizens that use Google. As they are sharing this data with all this competition, will it be as much protected as when it was with Google? So it's a lot of issues that they need to unpack. And but the US court has ruled. I don't know if the State Department will appeal to maybe the Supreme Court or take it to a higher level, so that they will see that Google, in America, competition is the main thing in their system there, and they don't want anybody to monopolize any sector of the economy.
Okay, so to all our viewers out there, drop out your comment in every news that
us what you think about it. WAEC, do you think WAEC should actually go for CBT or not? Do you also think that Google itself selling Chrome or giving out its data to or sharing its data to competitors is actually good or not? Lay out your comment. Like I said, thank you very much to our guests who made itself available and also making your wisdom available for us to drink from. Thank you very much to all our viewers out there for staying glued to your screen. Do well to stay glued to your screen further because we're bringing you more informative programs and interesting programs after now. The Idea Morning Digest will be coming after now. And also do well to follow, subscribe, as well comment, and let us know what you think about every news that has gone on air. I am Jacobs Deborah, and I would always say stay informed, stay safe. Bye for now.